Now it's time for your 420 Radio News for Tuesday, June 11th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. Canada to snuff out medical marijuana production in homes. This from yahoonews.com. Canada, a pioneer in the use of medical marijuana, will take legal production out of private homes next year as it seeks to address more than a decade of neighborhood spats and criminal activity. Health Canada will also snuff out its own production, which has been another legal source of the drug, and leave supplies solely to licensed growers in the private sector. More than 30,000 people in Canada are legally authorized to use marijuana, up from around 500 in 2001, when Canada became the first country to allow terminally ill patients to grow and smoke their own marijuana. Said Staff Inspector Randy Franks of the Toronto Police Service Drug Squad, quote, "There's far too much potential and actual abuse within the current scheme," end quote, adding that police do not have access to the addresses of approved sites in private homes. Quote, "These home grow operations are able to produce far more than they need, and they have to do something with it, so they sell it mainstream," end quote. The new regulations took effect on Monday, but the old rules will run concurrently until March 31st, 2014, to allow time for Ottawa to license new growers, said Janine Richdott, Director of Medical Marijuana Regulatory Reform for Health Canada. The changes will place growing sites under greater scrutiny, thorough inspections, security measures, and accounting of production volumes. Marijuana magazines won't be treated like pornography. This from HuffingtonPost.com. A Colorado law to require marijuana magazines to be sold behind the counter like pornography is being abandoned before it takes effect. State lawyers asked a federal judge Monday to order a permanent injunction on a recently enacted law requiring magazines about pot to be kept from newsstands in stores that allow shoppers under 21. The request came in an agreement reached with booksellers that sued to block the law, which was to take effect in July. Last week, Colorado officials stated they wouldn't enforce the law, calling it unconstitutional. Monday's filing is a firmer position from the state to ask the judge to take the requirement off Colorado books for good. The judge didn't immediately rule on the agreement. Joel Madden caught with marijuana in Sydney. The Voice judge busted, from People.com. Joel Madden says he hopes he, quote, didn't cause too much drama, end quote, after he was reportedly kicked out of his Sydney hotel room Sunday after a housekeeper discovered a small amount of marijuana in his room. There were no charges filed, according to both the Sydney Morning Herald and Madden himself, who addressed the incident on social media Tuesday. The Good Charlotte singer said, quote, "Sydney is my adopted home, and I appreciate the way the New South Wales police handled the situation. They have informed me that there will be no charges. I hope this didn't cause too much drama for anyone," end quote. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, a cleaner at the Darling Hotel inside the Sydney Star Casino found fewer than 5 grams of the drug in his room. Judge spares Cathy Luong jail time in marijuana growing case, from MassachusettsLive.com. Springfield resident Cathy Luong was sentenced to 2 years probation last week after pleading guilty to possession of marijuana with intent to distribute and illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition. Prosecutors dropped charges of violation of a drug-free school zone and possession of a large-capacity firing device in her case, which began on December 11th, 2011, when a gas leak prompted workers and police to enter her Springfield residence. Inside, they found what was described as a large-scale, sophisticated hydroponic marijuana growing operation, as well as a firearm and ammunition. Police then obtained a warrant to collect evidence. At her sentencing, Judge John S. Ferrara rejected an agreement between the defense and prosecution that would have put Luong in jail for 6 months, saying Luong's growing of marijuana was a, quote, substantial operation for her first foray into criminal conduct, end quote. Instead, Luong will serve 2 years probation. And finally, we will tell you a little bit about the DFW Normal, Effin' Normal tour that is taking place beginning this Thursday at the Green in Flagstaff, Arizona. We will also be traveling on Friday to Tucson, Arizona, and on Saturday we will be in Tempe, Arizona. So for more information, you can check out effinnormal.com. That's EFFINNORML.com. Or visit dfwnormal.org for more details. This has been your 420 Radio News for Tuesday, June 11th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the headlines and take a look at recent roadside collection being done by police on a voluntary basis for statistical analysis. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org.